Hello and welcome back to Bookish and welcome to Tag Tuesday. This week I'm doing the Literary World Cup tag. This tag was created by Elizabeth over the channel of Bokings and Books, and she was kind enough to tag me, as in part because I'm doing the World Cup read-along hosted by Mark at Book Time with Elvis. And the idea here is that we're supposed to pick 11 authors from our home country and kind of slot them into the positions in a soccer team as though these authors were going to play a football game, to use the proper term, or a soccer game, to use the American term. And since my home country is the United States of America, I'm probably going to find myself saying soccer more often than any. And since I was raised in East Texas, and I am kind of the age that came right before soccer was really widespread in the United States of America, particularly in East Texas. I was raised in a place where soccer seemed like a communist sport as opposed to American football. I have to tell you, even though I really love watching soccer, and I'm wearing the jersey of my favorite English Premier League team, Tottenham Hotspur, which, by the way, is my Harry Kane jersey, which I feel safe to wear, since England and the United States already played to I believe a 0-0 draw. Anyway, so because of that, even though I love soccer and I like watching it, I don't really know a lot of the intricacies of different positions. So essentially, I looked up kind of different kinds of soccer formations, and I'm going to go with the 4-2-3-1 soccer formation with a goalie, four defensemen, two defensive midfielders, three attacking midfielders, and one forward or striker. And I've picked authors kind of based on, I think my own version, however flawed it may be, of American literary history. Since, the tag kind of asked us to look at, authors from our home nation, it did feel like, to me, being a historian person, that I should kind of form my team based around American literary history. The other thing to keep in mind here, is more of my preamble to this, is that there are only 11 positions, and therefore, some authors have to be left out. So I'll do my best to give you some idea of why I chose the authors I chose. So in goal, playing goalie, I chose Mark Twain. Hemingway, I think, famously said that American literature really only began with Mark Twain. That seems kind of fair and kind of unfair, or maybe it was American writing or novels began with Mark Twain. But Twain is definitely a foundational American author, Huckleberry Finn, Tom Sawyer, all kinds of other writings. And so I'm going to put him in goalie as kind of a representative of kind of America. And to be honest with you, most people I have playing in these defensive positions, whether whether they're center backs or left back or right backs, are kind of authors who are kind of fundamentally American. So at one of my center back positions, I have James Fenimore Cooper. Cooper, the author of the the Longstocking Tales, the tales involving Natty Bumppo, Last of the Mohicans, the Pathfinder, the Deerslayer, those kinds of novels. Wrote novels which really celebrated kind of the unique character of the American people and the American landscape, and so he seems like a very America author as well. At my other center back, I have Nathaniel Hawthorne, who I can put on here since I did recently listen to The Scarlet Letter, and I've read some of Hawthorne's short stories. Hawthorne is also kind of one of those foundational American authors who wrote books, novels, stories set in the United States of America, and as a matter of fact, set in the American past, as did James Fenimore Cooper. And there's something just kind of inherently American about those stories. At left back, I have Stephen Crane, author of The Red Badge of Courage, Maggie Girl of the Streets, The Open Boat. And I have Crane there because his work is still, I think, foundationally and fundamentally American in its character, but it is a little bit transgressive. And so I figure, as a left back, he's not, strictly speaking, playing all the way back in defense. He's a little bit more forward from the two center back positions. This may or may not be true to the game of soccer, but that's why I picked Crane there. And then as right back, I have Edgar Allan Poe. Again, kind of like with Twain, a lot of American writing, literature, novels, fiction really begins with Poe, and Poe is a real innovator. And while his stories are not necessarily always set here in the United States of America, I think there's something just kind of fundamentally American about Poe. And about his work and his life. And so I'm going to put Poe at my right back. Then I have two defensive midfielders. These, again, from my point of view, need to be authors who are in some way, again, kind of foundationally, fundamentally American in their writing and in their outlook or in their innovation. But they're not, strictly speaking, as traditional, perhaps, as Hawthorne or Cooper, maybe a little less traditional than Crane and Poe. So at one defensive midfielder place, I have Willa Cather. I just listened to My Antonia, which is my first Willa Cather novel, and I chose her to be kind of a really fundamentally American author because her descriptions of the American West and the Great Plains I just thought were really beautiful and evocative. And My Antonia is a story of immigrant families and families in transition in the West, and there's something inherently American about it, but it is also kind of, I think, questioning, in some ways, traditional American ideas. And then my other defensive midfield spot, I put William Faulkner, my favorite author, I think, of all time, whose work is firmly grounded in the American South, but he is definitely questioning those Southern traditions, those Southern ideas, looking at the harm, decay they cause. And so he is also, I think, kind of a transitional author. And I am going to assume the defensive midfielders play some role in advancing the ball into the offensive zone, into the other team's zone. They play some offensive role also, even though their name is defensive midfielders. Then I have three attacking midfielders. These are authors, American authors, who, for me, kind of attacked the traditions of literature in some way, or they are creative in their Americanness in some way, or they're just really, really precise. So in one attacking midfielder spot, I have Ernest Hemingway, who really kind of reestablished a new form of American writing. You can hate Hemingway all you want to, but the Hemingway approach to writing is one which has been copied many times, imitated many times, and has a real influence still over American writing and literature. At kind of the center attacking midfielder, I have Toni Morrison, in part because of her massive creativity and her just incredible reliability. From a soccer point of view, she certainly can score goals, and she can also distribute the ball. And then at my other attacking midfielder, I have Edith Wharton for her precision and her use of language. I can imagine Edith Wharton being great at taking corner kicks or taking penalty or taking free kicks near the goal and really pinpointing and getting the ball exactly where it needs to be, which would be on the head of my forward or my striker. So that would be the one. And my starting forward would be James Baldwin. Forward needs to be fast, they need to be agile, they need to be creative, they need to be able to operate someone on their own, they need to be independent and able to act independently, and I think that's James Baldwin to a T. Baldwin, who was great, a great writer of essays, a great writer of fiction, a great interview on television, an excellent debater. Definitely sounds like he's the kind of aggressive person I want up there trying to score goals and wreak havoc. Now, other people have also mentioned other authors in different positions, so I would just say the coach of my team would be Ralph Waldo Emerson. I've read his essay on self-reliance. I'm aware of his speech and read parts of his speech about the American scholar. And in his work, Nature, he really basically laid claim to an independent American literary or artistic voice, looking at things from an American point of view. And so I think he would be the ultimate kind of coach for my American soccer team. On the bench and subbing in at defensive midfield, I would have John Dos Passos as a substitute, as well as Colson Whitehead. Whitehead for his versatility and his ability to write about things, and Dos Passos for his creativity. At forward or the striker position, I would have Jesmyn Ward for just kind of the beauty and the fluidity and the power of her writing, and then Elmore Leonard for, again, the precision, the quickness, again, agility of his writing. I would have him at my other striker position. I've written some others around the corners. Let's see, at a center back substitute, I would have Walt Whitman, certainly creative, certainly very pro-American in the traditional sense. And then, let's see, oh, and also at defensive midfielder, or sorry, at attacking midfielder, I would also have Louise Erdrich for her ability to kind of poke holes in American myths and ideas, and to kind of expose the truth about America's past in dealing with its Native American population. Anyway, there you go. There is my World Cup, or my Literary World Cup tag. Thank you again to Elizabeth tagging me. Look forward to all your comments about my lack of soccer knowledge and what the different positions do, and anything having to do with the authors below. As I said, I was bound to leave out some authors, including some that are probably on my favorites, but you do have to get down to 11 or 15 or so at some point, and that's what I did. Anyway, look forward to your comments in the comment section below, and as always, thank you for watching.